Hello students, I'm Aanchal Sharma, your educator. In this video, we are going to study about Alamkara. So, the theory of Alamkara is important and it has been seen that it is influenced the poetic composition and it is influenced by the Sanskrit tradition. It is accepted by the Mahakavya tradition and it was nourished as a different school and we call it as the Alamkara School. So whoever have studied about the Indian poetry, they must be very clear about Alamkaras. What are Alamkaras? Alamkaras are accepted by the Mahakavya tradition and was nourished in the teachings of the Alamkara school. They are like the embellishments, they are like the figure of speech, they are like the ornaments of our poetry. So we can read poetry, but if it is as simple as just a simple line, then you won't enjoy it. But you further enjoy the poetry when it is written in the most, in a very beautiful and flowery manner. So this flowery manner, this ornamental manner is called as Alamkara. So Kavya, that is poetry, is neither mere thought that we have nor mere emotion. It is what it is, a beautiful expression that we have. So it is how alluring ideas are incarnated in a very beautiful manner, in a beautiful expression. The function of Alamkara is to heighten the effect and to aid the poet to present his thought and his emotion in the most splendid and the most natural manner. So the natural manner should also be there. So you should not only use embellishments, but there should be a good, good balance that is maintained, and then only you can say that the poetry is a good poetry. So it is said that the term Alamkara combines within itself the elements of poetics and of aesthetics as well. So there are elements of poetics and yes, it should look beautiful as well. Alamkara Shastra is therefore the science which suggests, instructs of how Kavya should be, of how poetry should be. This is said by Alamkara. So Alamkara basically is referred to as the figure of speech. You can also call it as the figure of speech. The word Alamkara stands for the thing of beauty. The rhetoricians have already been using Alamkara, while there is some criticism about Alamkara as well, because they think that Alamkara is only talking about the superficial beauty and not about the inner strength of the poetry, right? So there are some problems related to Alamkara as well. So Alamkara is of an ancient origin, and Alamkara in the earliest form sustained that the school which studies the literary tradition of language and literariness, right? So they study about language and literariness. Then let us move forward. As the Alamkara concept begin to develop, we see that there are divisions and subdivisions endlessly, and we know a lot of figure of speech now. The whole concept of Alamkara is divided into two parts. We have two kinds of Alamkara that we'll be looking at the very end. During the latter periods, the Indian poetics have seen that the Alamkara school was subjected to some kind of a criticism. Why was it subjected to criticism? It is said that the Alamkara school was all about the poetic beauty and not about the inner sense. The inner essence of the Kavya was missed. So it seemed that they have missed the aspect of the inner essence of the Kavya, that is the poetry. The latter schools therefore considered Alamkara as the secondary virtue and not as the primary virtue. They don't consider it as the soul of the poetry, right? They do not consider it as the very essence. They declare that the poetry can exist without Alamkara and can still be a good poetry. But there are also other theorists who said that it is important that you use embellishments and ornaments in the poetry so that the poetry can look beautiful. Now it is Bhamaha who first started talking about Alamkara. Bhamaha started talking about Alamkara in his Kavya Alamkara. So in his Kavya Alamkara, he talked about the concept of Alamkara for the first time. There are many other critics who talked about Alamkara as well. like the handi, and we have Vamana, and we have Rudrata as well. So they also talked about it, right? So they have talked about different categories and subcategories of the word Alamkara as well. And many critics have said that they are not as useful and you can do away with them. Although the concept of Alamkara had played down in the latter period, we acknowledge that we are talking here about the quality of the Shabda and the Arth. And these are the two categories. So we have Shabda Alamkara and we have the Artha Alamkara, right? So these are the two divisions, and these divisions were made by Rudrata. So as I told you, there are many critics. So first of all, we have Bhamaha, who started talking about Alamkara, and then we have another critic, Rudrata, who divided the Alamkara into two units. The first is Shabda Alamkara, and then we have the Artha Alamkara. We have other theorists also who keep on working and adding. There are other subdivisions, but two most important are these subdivisions. We have Shabd and Arth Alamkara, right? So this is what these are the two divisions. Now let us move forward. Both Bhamaha and Dhandin agree that the central place should be accorded in the Kavya to nothing but your Alamkara, that is the figure of speech. Both held that the mode of figure of expression, that is the figure of expression called as Alamkara, the diction, that is the Riti, the grammatical correctness, that is Ochitya, and the sweetness of sound, that is Madhure, constitute the poetry. So Bhamaha said that what is poetry? Poetry should have these elements, and out of them Alamkara, embellishments, are very important. Then only you can say that there is a good poetry. Both use the Artha Alamkara and the Shabd Alamkara extensively, but it was Arth that was given more important, right? So Artha Alamkara, that is the meaningful expressions, were recognized as the charm of the poetry. So basically we see that whenever we see this word Alamkara, you should immediately think about the word ornament, and we come across this word a lot of time. How beautiful is the poetry? The poetry is beautiful because it is full of figure of speeches. This figure of speech are called as the ornaments. Both are not mere decorative pieces, but they are like embellishments that make the poetry more beautiful. So Alamkaras are various figures of speech, but with these come the other meanings as well. There are other divisions about them as well, and many theorists have talked about it as well. So some of the theorists, as I call you, Rudrata being one, have divided the Alamkara in two parts, and so Rudrata divided into two parts, that is Shabda Alamkara and Artha Alamkara. These are the two categories, and then they are further divided more. So we have Artha Alamkara and we have Shabda Alamkara. So what are the Artha Alamkara? Let us see. First of all, let us write something about the Shabda Alamkara. So Shabda Alamkara comes with the word Shabd and Alamkara. That means we are looking at the ornamentation of the words that is being used. The first is the Anupras. Anupras. शब्द अलंकारा के बारे में हम बात कर रहे हैं. Anupras is the alliteration, and we all know alliteration. Let me give you an example of alliteration. Peter Pepper pecked a peck of picked peppers. So what is it? P is repeated. This is nothing but alliteration, and in Hindi we called it as Anupras. That is alliteration. Then we have the Yapak. These are the words that are repeated again and again. We have Shalesh. Shalesh is also there. This stands for pun. So there are different kinds of Alamkara that are being used. So what can be an example of a pun? So an elephant's opinion carries a lot of weight. So this can be a pun that is being used. Then we have the Artha Alamkara. So Artha Alankara says that the meaning should be, told in a very beautiful manner. So these types are Upma being first, that is important. Upma, this is nothing but simile. So we use simile a lot of time, and when we talk about the figure of speeches in English, we are clear with it. But when it comes to the Indian aesthetics, we find it very difficult. So now the things would be more clear. What is Upma? It is nothing but simile. Her smile is as bright as the sun. So when you use as, we call it as the simile. We have Rupak. Rupak is another Artha Alankara. It is metaphor. The comparison is made between two different objects without like or as. You have a flower face. Your face looks like a flower, right? So here you are directly telling the person and you're not using as or like. So these are the different kinds of Artha Alankara. We have oxymoron, that is Virodha as well. Virodha. Virodha, oxymoron, right? So what is oxymoron? Combination of two words that are opposite. So life is bitter and sweet, right? So these are good examples, and by this you will be able to remember that there are different kinds of Alamkara, and it is Rupaka who started to talk about Alamkara, and he said that there are two kinds of Alamkara. We have Artha Alamkara and we have Shabd Alankara. While it was Bhamaha who started to talk about the theory of Alamkara, which is the decorative poetry, the embellishments and the ornamentation of the poetry, right? So I hope you understood. Let us quickly revise and take an overview. So we see that there are critics who give criticism for the Alamkara. Each school will come forward and will talk about something. As I told you in the first video, where we were discussing about rasas, right? So as there are 9 rasas, there are different types of Alamkaras also. And we have Bhamaha who said that in the Kavya Alamkara, that there are different kinds of embellishments, different kinds of Alamkara that can be used. While some critics have refuted and they have said that it only talks about the outer beauty and it misses the inner essence of Kavya. So this school is not the correct school, while Riti is more important, right? While Rasa is more important. So this is how each school is refuted. They say that you can also have good poetry that does not have a lot of Alamkaras. So what are Alamkaras? Alamkaras are the figure of speeches that we have been doing in English for so long, right? So I hope you understood this video. If you have any doubt, you can write it in the comment section. I'll surely reply to you. Thank you.